Welcome back to my channel. You already know it's your boy Hood Diggity, the Rock Reactor, back with another video. Yes, sir. Before I proceed, let me know where you tapping in from. Let me know what country, what city, what mountain, what hill, what cave, what island, what planet, what universe. Let me know where you at. Represent your hood. Yes, sir. We got today's news. Now, the Trump administration FAST TRACKS Liam Ramos, the 5-year-old that was detained, and his dad for deportation. I truly do not understand this, because if they were released, that's because they're in a asylum process, and a judge determined that they are lawful for now. They're lawfully staying in the United States legally. So I don't understand why the persecution, why. I just don't understand. Let's get right into it, guys. Let's see what they're talking about. And before we do, if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to my channel, hit the notification bell, hit the like button. Any donations to my channel will be greatly appreciated. My PayPal account is on the screen. Let's take a look, man.
Well, national focus has drifted away a bit from Minneapolis. The fight against the federal occupation there continues. Just today, people gathered again in really frigid temperatures to hold a vigil at the memorial site for Alex Preddy and to protest the thousands of immigration agents that remain there, going all over the city, intimidating people, scaring them, keeping them inside, and grabbing them off the street. Members of the community are out there fighting for their neighbors, like 5-year-old Liam Ramos, who was taken with his father by immigration agents and sent to a detention center in Texas last month. Earlier this week, Liam and his father were finally returned to Minneapolis, thanks in part to a judge's order and in large part to the efforts of Texas Congressman Joaquin Castro. But now the Trump administration is, you'll never guess what, trying to immediately deport Liam again. In fact, an immigration attorney representing the family told Minneapolis Public Radio the Department of Homeland Security filed a motion Wednesday to expedite deportation proceedings in the family's case. For their part, DHS claims this was a normal deportation proceeding today.
Why, guys? Why? I don't understand this. Why? Why are they just pursuing this? I understand that they want to get the illegal immigrants. I totally get that. I agree with that. I support that. But in this case, this is too much, man. This is a 5-year-old, man. This is a 5-year-old, and they're not illegal. Right now, they're not illegal. I don't get it.
This evening, we received word from an official with Liam's school district that the court granted the family a continuance into asylum hearing, which postpones the case for now. Kika Matos is the president of the National Immigration Law Center.
Exactly. The judge determined that they're going to postpone it. So I don't get it.
Senator, which represents and advocates for immigrants. She joins me now. Kika, it's good to have you on. I want to just ask about what feels very much like a retaliatory movement here. Obviously, Ramos's case got a lot of attention. That photo was sort of instantly iconic. A judge ordered him released in a scathing order, basically not very happy with what the federal government had presented. And then they immediately moved to deport him and say, no, this is all just regular order. We're not retaliating. Is that credible?
No, it is most certainly not credible. And the administration has done this before. It seems that every time we have a situation where a grave injustice has been committed and directed towards an immigrant, and Americans begin to speak out, that the administration retaliates by threatening to deport them, even if it means that the administration is violating the law. We saw this with Gilmar Abrego Garcia. We saw this with Mahmoud Khalil, and now we're seeing this with a 5-year-old child and his father, who, I should add, entered the country lawfully.
That point about Gilmar Abrego Garcia, I think it's worth taking a second just for that, because obviously we covered that story, closely. He was shipped off to this, sort of black hole gulag. A combination of political pressure and a judge's order forced him back, and immediately they try to deport him. And then they bring federal charges against him. And then those federal charges don't look like they're doing very well, so then they try to move to deport him again. And it really did feel like they were had the posture You embarrassed us. We're going to.
Guys, you know what I noticed? That why is it that the Trump administration likes to go against the judge's order? Like the judge will determine something that there's a lot of people that I've heard and I've seen where the judge has determined they'll grant them a stay and or they'll determine that they are legally in the United States and they cannot deport them, and they just go ahead and deport them anyway. I don't understand that.
Make you pay for it.
Yes, it's almost the equivalent of throwing spaghetti up on the ceiling and saying we're just going to try everything we possibly can to have him deported, but also to terrorize, to intimidate, to humiliate this immigrant, and also to send a message to other immigrants, right, and other people in this country, because I think what we are seeing is authoritarianism. This is what will happen to you if you try to mess with us.
In the case of Liam Ramos as a father, it seems illustrative, and part of the reason I think it captured imaginations is because he's a child. There's other children from that school district who were taken. I think all of but one has been returned, but one possibly still down in Dilley, if I have that right. And it sort of typifies what's been happening in Minnesota. There was no, as far as I know, there was no final removal order. This was not an individual, his father, who had been convicted of some grave and violent crime, and there was on a list, and ICE agents were sent out. They were just basically grabbed, and they used the child essentially as bait to get him, and they shipped him down to Dilley as soon as they could. That seems like that's become basically the modus operandi for how they're operating in Minnesota. Is that right?
Yes, and let us remember that this administration said that they were only going to go after the hardened criminals and that everybody else was going to be safe. You could hardly call this 5-year-old child a hardened criminal. You can't call his father a hardened criminal because his father doesn't have a criminal history. What they are doing is engaging in mass...
Guys, may I add, and I know I keep saying the same thing, may I add that if they were illegally in the United States, I couldn't understand. Even the child is here illegally, the child is in the United States illegally. I get it. They want to deport them. I get it. But these people are here legally. He came in legally. The judge determined that there is a continuance and they can stay for now. So they're going through a legal process. So if you by you trying to deport these people, that means this is illegal. You can't deport them. I just don't understand why the persecution.
Deportations, and they don't care about whether you have legal status in the country and you're, for example, pursuing your asylum application. They don't care if you've been living in this country for decades and contributing to the fabric of society. All they care about is this mass deportation machinery, and their effort, their aim, their goal is to try to deport as many people as possible. Constitutional rights be damned. That is what is so egregious about what is happening in the country right now. And let me say, Minnesota is ground zero for that, but we should expect that this is going to be happening all over the country. It happened in D.C., it happened in L.A., it happened in Chicago. But now we're really seeing the spread of authoritarianism and the excesses of the machinery of ICE, which is completely out of control.
Final question for you is about detention. There are tens of billions of dollars, if I'm not mistaken, in the legislation passed last year by the Republicans to expand detention. They're already starting to move on different facilities. They've met local resistance in some places. What are your concerns about what that detention is going to look like, given the reports we've gotten out of the Whipple Federal Building, where people are apparently sleeping on the floor, the Dilley facility where young Liam was and was, falling ill and reacting poorly to the food there?
We politely call them detention centers. What they are prisons. The conditions are similar to prisons and jails. Substandard conditions. A lot of contractors make a ton of money off of these detention centers, and they treat people like garbage. and they try to save every penny. So the food is disgusting. The conditions are horrible. People are treated really, really badly. And the fear that I have is this is also an effort to normalize the extreme dehumanization of immigrants.
Final word. This is just from the lawyer for Liam Ramos saying that the order to expedite that hearing was frustrating because they keep throwing new obstacles in our way. There's absolutely no reason that this should be expedited. It's not very common. It sure looks like they're going after him. Kika Matos, thanks so much for your time tonight.
This is crazy, guys. This is crazy. The Trump administration needs to bring the volume down a little bit, man, because these are people. Why are they going after people that are in the United States legally? People with legal status, people who came in legally. I believe that's a waste of resources. And I believe that that's against the law. They're violating the law. They're going against the judge's orders, guys. Guys, let me know what you think, man. And, of course, subscribe to my channel. Hit the notification bell. Hit the like button. Any donations to my channel will be greatly appreciated. My PayPal account is on the screen. May God help us all. Peace, love, and God bless.